If we go, right, okay, Dan, what we're doing the next coming week is examination prep.
It's getting serious now.
It is getting serious. What I was going to say, I think there's a few little basic things that were coming up that I thought that guys were doing. Whoa, we're going, I think there's a motorbike. This is a good plan coming around here, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We got a BMW just coming, right. But I was going to say, sometimes students write an intro, and I go and say who, what, where, when, and I think intro writing is pretty key for the exam.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah.
But you've got to get the right tune. Now, sometimes I think we just wait for this. We just wait for this, guys. What's happening is this is very real. A motorbike is going to go, and hopefully, see if he's going to do a wheelie. That'd be really cool if he does.
No luck.
No. Okay, he's doing all right. Okay, he's gone right. Intros.
It's underwhelming.
What I had, that's very good. Sometimes today, when we were doing the running story, some people wrote an intro which saying, police are investigating reports that.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's completely wasted because the story begins after that.
Yeah.
A light plane.
We're not debating the fact it happened. It did happen. So you don't need to say reports. It's come from an official source. It's clearly happened. So it's just wasted words if you're saying reports of, reports that.
Yeah.
You just say, plane is crashed.
Now, what we're going to do, we're going to do a mock exam. And with a mock exam, I think it's going to be possibly easier than one we did today.
That was the idea of today's exercises. Today was very much dropping you in the deep end, making it quite difficult. It's very full on. There's a lot of walking and writing and thinking. So that when you actually do sit down and do the mock assessment and then the actual assessment, it should theoretically be easier than what we did today. Obviously there's marks and stuff on the line, but the actual premise and the activity should be better. And
this is sort of NCTJ professional exam style assessment. But that means for me, with the NCTJ, it's less touchy-feely. For me, it's more like basics, real basics of stuff. Well, we're going to get run over. We're going to get run over. We're going to get run over
First a bike, then a car.
All happening here. There it goes. We survived that. Okay, so names. Your name as misspelled. That's an annoying thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, but no, when people misspell your name, that's annoying.
Oh, yeah.
So people have to get like the basics, like names right.
So I think this is now week 4. At this point, we really, if it hasn't already sunk in, we really need to get the basics right. It's very important. If you were to go and pick up a local paper and read a local story, or any story, any paper or publication ever, it's always full names. So you have to make sure you get first name, surname, age. And if you ask that every single time you do an interview, it becomes a habit. And then it sticks in, it stays there. And you'll do it every time for the rest of your career. Yeah,
I'm being obsessional about getting names spelt right.
Yeah.
Obsessional. So that's not, that is what's known as a given. We shouldn't have to teach them. That's a given. You've got to get people's names right.
Yeah, if you want to report on someone, you need their full name.
Right.
It's that simple. Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do the exam itself without I'm trying to peel away a little bit of the mystery, but the exam itself is going to be such a lovely tree. I can just show everyone the tree. I'm just going to show you that lovely tree. But I think we'll head back rather away from the busy road.
Good shot.
Okay, so you can see the tree better now.
In the way now.
No, that's all right. It's better. Some people are going to admire you more than me and possibly the tree.
I would beg to do.
But the exam isn't particularly complicated. There's no hidden agenda there.
No.
It's not as if we're not going to stonewall them.
No.
So the information will be sort of like pretty straightforward, pretty logical.
Yeah.
On top of that, the brief has got all the sort of stuff on there, what we're looking for, sort of like accuracy, the way that they structure a story. Now, that's what we're working on today with trying to structure. And I would go and say it's a weakness still, but it will come. A weakness figuring out what the top line is, what the intro is going to be in the story.
Yeah, so I've seen a few of you maybe jump ahead where you've done an introduction and actually it's not too bad at all. And then you've jumped ahead to the quote straight away. You're missing a lot of context. If the plane's crashed, there's only a certain amount you can put in the intro to make sure it's punchy and concise. So when are we going to find out the rest of the information? You don't want to be reading that at the bottom of the article. quite frankly, quotes from spokespeople is not more important than where did it happen, when did it happen, you know, potentially why are emergency services there, or are they being scrambled to the scene? So it's very much a case of, if you sort of zoom out and think of yourself reading a news story, what do you want to know first and in what order? It's really important you get that crucial context in really high up before you then jump ahead with quotes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's crucial that you think about that and then apply that for the assessments coming up.
And for me, another important thing perhaps to consider is, even in the exam, to take good notes. I saw some people today going direct to laptop. Have you any views on that?
I would prefer to do it with a notepad. I think because the act of actually writing it out for me with hand, because I'm slow, obviously doing that and typing, means it sets in my head. Also, it's good to have notes on hand anyway, because laptops go wrong, I lose it, drop it, might break. You know, I'm not saying it's going to happen in the assessment, but it's just always good to have. And I know it's deemed old-fashioned, I know we're in the 21st century now, but actually notepads in journalism are more important than ever. It's not an old-fashioned thing, it's not archaic, everyone does it. So make sure you've got one if you haven't. And then I would always use that and prioritise that for taking notes for stories like you've got coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, and I think I've this week or the week after at some stage, I think it might be an idea to have a natter about intros, a few tips on how to do intros.
Yeah, I think we're getting there slowly but surely, which is good. We're moving in the right direction, certainly. But intros are the most important part of the story. If it's not gripping you, if it's not giving you immediately important information, why a reader's going to, you know, read your story over Arrivals, for example? If you're not telling the story properly, the story falls down. So
Okay.
intros are key.
Any tips on how to do an intro yourself? What goes through your mind when you know? Is there anyone ever told you anything that's stuck in your mind about this is the secret of a good intro, or
So
how you do it?
I was just told not to overcomplicate anything, and I think maybe, hopefully, from the exercise today has potentially stopped you from doing some of that. Where when you write stories, you are against the clock. It's a very fast-paced industry. You don't have time to add unnecessary waffle in. So it's very much, if you look at a sentence, you think, oh, that's too simple. It means actually it's probably spot on. They don't need to be long. They don't need to be rambling. Don't necessarily need the commas in there, to be honest. If it's just
No, I agree.
unnecessarily lengthening it out.
Kind of like,
Yeah.
for me, minimalist punctuation.
Yeah.
I never use brackets. I always use dashes.
I use dashes,
long dashes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keep it snappy. You'll
Keep
know
it
when
snappy.
you're reading it in your own head if it's too long a sentence. It needs to be to the point. It needs to be punchy, because the rest of the story, that's the point of having the rest of the story. It provides the reader with the rest of the information they need to know. You don't need to cram it all into the intro. It's too much of a mouthful.
Okay. I think we're done.
I think that's the key things.
Okay, we're done. Take care. We will speak to you soon.